All right, you've got this worksheet, which is called 2.1 worksheet number 2. That's what I assigned yesterday. And I got you through part of it, and then we stopped. And I'd like to help you through it a little further. Would you take that worksheet out, please, at this time? All right. Yeah, unless the evil math teacher has taken yours away, in which case maybe I could find an extra one here for myself. All right, fine. Have it back. You're going to want to do your homework with me. It'll make your life easier. I'd hate to take that away from you. All right, here we go. Let's look at number 6. It says to find the vertex and the axis of the graph of the function. All right. Okay, vertex. Is this number 6 in vertex form? It says 3x squared plus 5x minus 4. That is not in vertex form. Otherwise, it'd be super easy. If they're in vertex form, you can see the vertex like right away. Okay, focus on the screen up there. Thank you. All right. So now, if I'm going to find the vertex for this thing, I could graph it, but that's a really long process. Okay, I can make the XY chart and graph it and everything. But here's the fast way. Write this down. X equals negative b over 2a. That's a great way to find the vertex really quick. Negative b over 2a. You're not writing yet. Thank you. Excellent. Here we go. So, how do I do that in practical, like, how do I actually do that for this problem? Well, negative b would mean negative 5. Over 2a, 2a is like 2 times 3. So that's negative 5 over 6. There, I've got the x of it. But a vertex is really 2 things. You can copy that down if you want to get the first part done. This is problem 6 off your worksheet if you want to do it right there. All right, now, if I want to get the other part, I need the y of it. Well, it starts with y equals, right? So now if I know x is negative 5, 6, I have to go back and put that into this equation. Where would I put this negative 5, 6 in? Well, it's the x. X equals negative 5, 6. So put an x is negative 5, 6, and an x there is negative 5, 6. I know it's a little bit of a pain, but that's how you do it. Okay. So I'd say y equals 3 times parentheses, negative 5, 6 squared, plus 5 times parentheses, negative 5, 6, and then minus 4. Put all that together, you'll have the y of it. What's the key here? If you ever, like if you're writing down things for notes for tests, and they ask you to find the vertex, you need to know that negative b over 2a thing. Okay? Really important. If you haven't already got this written someplace important, write it down someplace. All right, in case you don't recognize that, that's from this. X equals negative b plus or minus squared root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And this part right here, if I'm just taking this part right here as to be my vertex, think about it. What would this part right here have to be to make it so it wouldn't matter? 0. So if what's underneath the root is 0, then you got this as your vertex. So moral of the story is this is a graph where it's touching once like this, and its vertex is at negative b over 2. Okay, so back to what do we have to do for our worksheet? Well, the first part of that was to rewrite the equation for the function. No, the first part was to give the vertex and the axis of the graph of the function. Right? Then it wants us to write the function in vertex form. Once I know a vertex is like 2, 5, it's really easy to write it in vertex form. What do I put where the question marks are? The 2 and the 5. Okay? But I got to know what number, like whether to make them positive or negative. Which one of these do you think you can trust? The one on the inside or the one on the outside? The outside I can trust, so that's just what I think it would be. This one I have to do the opposite of. Do you get how to make things in vertex form? That's really important, and I don't want to gloss over it too fast. All right, take your worksheet, and I want you to, so you probably don't have room on there. I'm going to ask you to get out a separate sheet of paper. I'm going to pause for a second while you do that. So I've got you, or you've got some paper out, and now here we go. Let's say I give you this, negative 2, 9. Would you please write me vertex form for that? If that's the vertex, how do you write the equation in vertex form? You can't do this, that's a big sign you're about to fail the next step. Okay. That's what I'm trying to get at here is, can you do the stuff you need to do? Starts with y equals, of course, because it's an equation. Next part is you need to have this squared because we know it's a parabola. The next part is x here, and then opposite of this here, and that there. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. That's vertex form of an equation. If I multiplied that all the way out, we have general form. Okay, so to get from vertex to general, that's easy. Here's the next thing that you need to learn how to do. How do you complete the square so you can get from general form, y equals, here, x squared plus, let's go with 10x plus 2. Write that one down. That's general form. The test is going to ask you to go from general form, or when I say this, I don't know for sure that that's on the test, but this is one of the concepts that could be tested. Go from general form to vertex form. So I got to rewrite this puppy somehow as y equals some kind of a deal like this. If I only knew the vertex, I could put it there. And no, I can't just see the vertexes here and here. It doesn't work that way. Only if it's in vertex form. If it's in general form, all I have is an A and a B and a C. Okay, that's a good thing. Handy for doing the quadratic formula, but I need to get to this form called vertex form. I know you did complete the square last year, but I'm going to teach you like you're totally new at this and see if it comes back. Do you remember setting up a deal where you had x squared plus 10x plus something minus something and then plus 2? Do you remember doing that last year? Okay, if you haven't done complete the square before, then some of you may never have learned this. You're about to learn it. Copy down what I just wrote. The reason I'm doing plus the line and minus the line goes something like this. This is off to the side now. If I just said, you don't have to write this. If I said 7 equals 7, I think you'd agree with me, right? Do you get if I said I'm going to add 2 to both sides? That'd be okay, right? What if I added 2 to this side but also subtracted 2 from that side? Wouldn't that also be okay? Wouldn't that be true? Okay. Why would you ever want to do that? Because in a problem like this, we need to put a certain number right there to make this part be a perfect square. Right? So whatever number I put there, I also have to put here. All right, so for example, in this case, I'm going to want to put 25 right there. I'll tell you how I got that moment in the moment. But do you get if I add 25 and I also subtract 25, it kind of cancels each other out? All right. So go ahead and fill in the 25. Now, does anybody have a recollection? Anybody that was in HA 9 last year, higher algebra? I know you did this last year. There's a little German boy that helps you understand what Hafen-Square. Yes. All right, somebody remembers. Hafen-Square. Well, what the heck does that mean? Judging by what I just said, do you have any clue what you're supposed to do to get that 25? Divide it by 2, yes. Take half of this, which would make what? 5, and then square it. So you do Hafen-Square to get this number right here. All right? So half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. Now, why is that 25 so special? Because now I have made a perfect square right here. And I can say x, and then what would make this factor out to be this? Plus 5 and plus 5. Yep, you only do that on this number right here. All right. And then if I take the negative 25 and the positive 2, put them together, I get negative 23. And now, do you get that those two can go together now? Because these are identical to each other. And so I can say x plus 5 quantity squared minus 23. Look what just happened. I now have vertex form. That last step was just me taking these two guys, and since they're identical, I can put them together and say they're squared. See? How do we know it's 25? You always take half of this number and square it. All right, so completing the square. All right, now, I'll give you another one. some of you can do it already. Some of you are going to need help. Some of you are ready to have Dad let go of the bike and you can ride it yourself. Some of you need me to hold it up for a while so you don't scrape your arm all up on the pavement. All right, so I'm going to start it, and then you tell me, you see if you can do this one yourself or not. I'm still holding on to the back of the bike right this second because I'm going to say where you put the plus and minus box are really kind of important, the plus and minus line. Right here. And you move that 2 all the way to the end. See if you can do it. Completing the square. Technically it's higher algebra square, but we'll teach it to you now. Anybody think you got it to work? All right, 4 or 5 of you made it without wiping out the bike. All right, here's your process. Half and square. Half 8's 4, 4 squared, 16, 16. How many knew to put 16s there? Okay, good. Next step is these guys make your perfect square part. X plus 4 and x plus 4 would make that work. And then these guys can go together and make negative 14. And then, final answer is to put it all together in vertex form, x plus 4 squared minus 14. And now I've got the vertex sitting right here like a cherry that wants to be picked off the tree. Is perfectly ripe. Negative 4 comma negative 14 is my vertex. Raise your hand if you get that. Good. Now, I'm going to give you one more. And we'll see if we can get like 95% of you to get it right here. Y equals x squared plus 14x minus 11. Without any help. Raise your hand if you got that. Sweet. Almost everybody. Okay. It's called completing the square. It gets you from general to what form? Vertex. Okay? And that's a typical thing you're going to have to do in this next kind of a test. Yes? That's like riding the bike down the driveway. Much more dangerous. X squared plus 3x plus 7. Let's say we had that. I'm going to try this one with me. We're not going to get too heavy into completing the square yet, but yeah, sometimes there's an odd number in there, and then it gets kind of ugly. Here's what you do. You still do the same thing with the lines. X squared plus 3x plus a line minus a line plus 7. And it still works exactly the same. It's just harder to take half of 3. What's half of 3? 1.5. And then you got to square it, which is 2.25. But I would recommend you do it with fractions. I know you think fractions are harder, but they're not always harder. What's half of 3? 3 over 2. You get that? And half and then squared is 3 over 2 squared. Could you do that in your head? Yeah, you could. What would it be? 9/4. See how fractions are actually a little easier than taking 1.5 times 1.5? All right. And then, as I finish this deal, if you do that deal I did right here with the fraction and then squared, half and then squared, then you go like this. X and X, plus and plus, and then put 3 over 2. See, the nice part is you know what to put here because it's the square root of that. And this part gets messy only because it's not very fun to add fractions. So I'm going to go negative 9/4, and I'm going to make that into fourths. So 7 over 1, and I'm going to times it by 4 over 4. That'll make me have common denominator. And that'll be 28/4, so negative 9/4 plus 28/4. And I have to subtract those. That's kind of a pain. I think it was 19/4, negative 19/4. And then this part would be x plus 3 over 2 quantity squared minus 19/4. Plus 19/4, just like I said. Okay, so that gets a little harder because it's got a fraction in it. All right, yeah, kind of it's got the fractions, I know. But don't be too surprised if you saw one. All right, one more time. Ready? Y equals x squared plus, let's make it some other odd number. How about 9x minus 2? Going down the hill. You guys ever ride on your bike and then when you first time you had the bike where you had brakes in the back and brakes in the front and then you squeeze the handle and you squeeze the handle for your front brakes and then it flips you right over the bike going down the driveway? That has happened to everybody in my family. Squeeze the brakes, the front ones lock up, and you go right over the top. Okay. Half and square. Mr. H, help me. No, 9 over 2. But yes, 4.5 is the same thing. And then, because you'd have to square it. I don't have to square it. I can just go like that. Okay? And then I can square those numbers in my head pretty easy. What are they going to be? 81/4. Very good. And then this part, I can say x plus, and then 9. I can put 9x. That's the nice part about this. I don't have to recalculate what to put there. It's already right there. That part's a pain in the butt. I'm going to multiply it by 4 over 4, and that'll make it negative 8/4. So it's negative 81/4 minus 8/4. Grand total finale y equals x plus 9/2 squared minus 89/4. Whew. That's actually higher algebra, but it's hard enough to be Precalc level, no doubt. Okay. When are you ever going to use that? Well, on problems 9, 10, 11, and 12. And there's one more skill you have to know. I can't believe we're doing them this hard for people that have never done them before. So in fact, I'm going to just say, I'm going to show one in case any of the teachers are hardcore enough that they're going to assign it this way. But I'm probably going to not go this far myself today with making the assignment. If you have this, what's different about this than all the other ones I just did? What number is different than all the others? The 2. So on this kind, you have to factor out this 2 out of both of these first, and then you do the whole process. That's the only extra step. It's only one extra step. So I take that 2 out, and what do I have left? X squared plus 3x. And then the plus 7, I know you want to factor a 2 out of that. You can. So you just leave the plus 7 over here. And some of you might feel like, well, that's not even right. If I multiply it out, it will be the same thing as I have on the red line. Multiply out the black one quick in your head. Comes out to the exact same thing as the red one. You don't have to factor it out of everything. I know we've beaten that into your head. You got to have one in here and here and here. Not when you do it this way. If I just factor out the first 2, you can do it. See? Just multiply that out. You'll get this, right? And then you add 7. There we go. It works. Okay, so now, why did I just do that? Because I now can do my rest of my problem, half and square thing. Plus a line, minus a line. And this is going to probably blow your brain cells, so I'll do this one. 3 over 2 squared, which makes 9/4. Then, since I factored a 2 out to the front here, do you get this 2 would get multiplied by that line? I want those two lines to cancel each other out. And that means this 2 that was multiplied in front has to be multiplied by that line also. Final answer, 2, parentheses, x plus 3/2 squared. That makes -18/4 plus 7, which is times by 4 over 4 to get a common denominator. That'd be 28/4. Turn that off. And then I need to put those together, and I would get x plus 3/2 squared plus 10/4. Woo! That's serious. All right. There's only one other thing on your worksheet, which is where you are writing an equation for a parabola. And this one is really important. Whereas this, I don't know how hardcore we're going to get into completing the square. So I want to show you that. Other pre-calc kids can't come along on the beach and kick sand in your face because you've never done hard complete square problems. Now you have. But you're going to instead learn this one, which is really important. If I give you a parabola and I give you the vertex of it is like 2, 3, and I give you some other point on it, which is like 3, 4, you should be able to write the equation for it based on those 2 points. All right? And this is the part of the worksheet that gets to number 13 and 14 and 15. Okay, that's the last thing we have to learn. Okay. Do you remember me telling you a big old equation you needed to memorize? Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. That's when you have a straight line. Remember that one? If you don't have that one memorized yet, write it down somewhere and put a star by it, because you have to know that one. But this one is not a straight line, is it? And so we need some other equation to stick my points into. All right, so what equation do I use for this kind? For this kind, I use y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Of course, that equation. Write it down. Not on the coffee lid either. Put it on your paper. You'll need this one. Okay, now, several of you are smart enough to know which letters make up the vertex. Which letters make up the vertex? The H and the K. All right. See? H, K. All right. Some of you tried at least. All right. The H and the K are my vertex. Which one of these is the vertex? The 2, 3 or the 3, 4? 2, 3. So I'm going to put the 2, 3. Gentlemen in the back, focus with me, please. The vertex is going in here. 2, 3. There we go. Now, do you know the stretch factor just by looking at it? No, you don't. Therefore, we have to figure out this A right here. Remember how last time we had to figure out the slope for that other line? We had to figure out the slope. This one, this is kind of like the slope right here. But we have to do it by figuring it out with both points being put in. I just put in the 2 and the 3 right here. Now I'm going to go put in the 3 and the 4. There's only 2 other places I could logically put the 3 and the 4. Where do you think? The A, the X, and the Y? Which ones am I going to put it in? What's that? And what's that? That's an X, that's a Y. So I'm going to put those in for X and Y. Did you get that I now just filled in every spot except A? So I can figure out what A is. I'm going to rewrite it so it's not as dirty. 4 equals A, 3 minus 2 squared plus 3. And then I can do some of this. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. So now, oh wait. that a is being times by the 1, so I better be careful with that. This is 4 equals a times 1 plus 3. Okay. Subtract 3. 1 equals a, and a times 1 is a, so there we go. A is 1. Now that I know a is 1, I can finish this deal. Y equals 1 times parentheses x minus, and now I always put in my vertex 2 comma 3, and this is, I can trust this positive 3 to be positive 3. This is a positive 2. Why'd I put in a negative 2? Because you always do the opposite of what you'd expect from them. And there's my answer. There's my equation for this parabola right here. All right, I know that's a lot to learn in one day. I'm going to review it tomorrow. I'm going to give you one more, except this one I want to do one of your worksheet problems with you, okay? So everybody grab your worksheet. Let's do problem number, let's do 13. Number 13. It's got a picture of a parabola going like this, and it gives me 2 points on it. It gives me -1 comma -3, and it also gives me 1 comma 5 on it. Okay. Remember that formula I said was really important if you write down? I hope you wrote it down. I can't look at what I wrote down because it's on another sheet, but I'm going to try to remember it from memory. A, and then x minus h, and then squared, and then plus k. And that's the vertex right here and here. And that's the stretch factor. Okay. So first thing I do is plug in my vertex. My vertex is right there. So I'm going to plug in -1 for x. So it's -1 right here. And then my y. Oh wait, I'm doing it wrong. Sorry. I'm putting the vertex in the wrong spot. The vertex goes here. Okay. So I need a 1 there. No, opposite of that. -1. Because there'll be 2 negatives, I know. So it'll end up being +1. Isn't that what we want? Kind of the opposite of that? Okay. And then I'm going to throw in the k, which is -3. So now my equation looks like this. A, x, minus -1 means +1, squared, -3. And that's all awesome and everything, it's just I don't know what a is. As soon as I figure out what a is, I'll be done. So how do I figure out what a is? I go and take this point, which I haven't used yet. Obviously, I must need that information, so I'm going to take it right now and put it in here and here. So I'm going to have 5 equals, so 5 goes there and a 1 goes there. 5 equals a, 1 plus 1 squared minus 3. I solve that for a, then I'll know what a is. And once I put a right there, I'm done with my problem. I just needed to know what a was. I already had the vertex in it. So. All right, so now I'm going to go 5 equals a times 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4a minus 3. Okay. Add 3 to both sides. 8 equals 4a. Divide by 4 on both sides. A equals 2. 2 equals a. Okay. So, now my answer is pretty much done. You can read the red writing and the green writing, you've got the answer. Y equals, I'm bringing it from right here. I had the answer, I just didn't have a yet. Now I got a. 2 parentheses x plus 1 squared minus 3. All right, there's your answer for number 13. Now, this stuff is tough. I'm going to have you guys skip 11 and 12 for right now. Don't scribble them all out. Just don't do 11 and 12. Okay? We're going to do them together tomorrow to remember how to do this stuff. But the whole rest of the worksheet, finish that worksheet. You already did the first half of it yesterday. Now finish the deal. Okay? That's all I got for you for today. The rest of the time is work time.